Captain Liz Martinez stared out the large window of the exploration ship Curiosity. The stars looked like tiny dots of light against the black emptiness of space. Her ship had been traveling for 3 years, mapping empty star systems that no one had visited before. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Officer Ben Clark. His fingers moved quickly across the glowing control panel. "It's coming from the 5th planet in this system." Liz walked over to his station. "What kind of reading?" "Metal. Lots of it. Too regular to be natural." Ben looked up at her with wide eyes. "And it's giving off a very faint energy signature." Liz felt her heart beat faster. The Galactic Confederation had sent them to explore this region because old star charts marked it as empty. No known civilization had ever settled here. "Wake up the rest of the crew," she ordered, "and change course for the 5th planet." 6 hours later, the Curiosity approached a large gas giant. It was mostly purple with swirling storm clouds, but it wasn't the planet that made everyone on the bridge fall silent. Floating in perfect formation around the planet were ships. Hundreds of ships. Thousands of ships. "Are they warships?" whispered John Allen, the science officer. He had joined Liz at the main viewing window. The ships were huge and dark. Each one had smooth lines that reminded Liz of the hunting birds from her home planet. Despite being parked in space for who knows how long, they looked ready to fly at any moment. "They're not like anything I've ever seen," said Kate Wilson from her communications station, "and I've studied every known ship design in the Confederation." Liz made a decision. "Take us closer, but slowly, and keep our shields up just in case." As they moved toward the nearest ship, they could see it was much bigger than they first thought. It was at least 3 times the size of the Curiosity, which was already one of the largest ships in the Confederation fleet. "I'm detecting writing on the hull," said John, looking at his scanner. "It's not in any language in our database." Kate was busy at her station. According to the old star charts, this system was called Sol by someone, and the 3rd planet was called Earth. The name sent a shiver through the crew. Earth was a legend, a myth told to children. It was said to be the homeworld of humans, a species that had disappeared from the galaxy 500,000 years ago. "Humans aren't real," said security officer Paul Davis with a nervous laugh. "They're just stories." "Every story has some truth in it," Liz replied quietly. She had always been fascinated by the old tales. Humans were said to have fought a terrible war against the Draxian Empire long ago. Both sides had supposedly destroyed each other, leaving only ruins and stories behind. "If these are human warships," she said, "we need to understand why they're here, and if they still work." Chief Engineer Greg Summers spoke up from his station. "Based on the metal composition and design, these ships have been here for at least 500,000 years. The fact that they haven't been pulled into the planet's gravity is amazing. They must have some kind of power still running." "Can we take a closer look at the biggest one?" Liz asked, pointing to a massive ship at the center of the formation. It was easily 20 times larger than the others. "Setting course now," replied the pilot, Officer Dan Young. As they approached the central ship, they could see it was different from the others. While all the ships had the same basic design, this one had additional structures that looked like command centers or special weapons. "I'm detecting a faint energy field around it," Greg reported. "It's like a bubble protecting the ship." "Scan for life signs," ordered Liz. "Is anyone on board?" John shook his head after checking his scanner. "No life signs, but there are power readings. Something inside is still working after all this time." Kate suddenly called out, "Captain, I'm picking up a signal." "From where?" Liz asked, moving to her station. "From the big ship. It just started broadcasting when we got closer." Kate's fingers moved across her panel. "It's repeating the same pattern over and over." "Is it a warning?" Paul asked, his hand moving to his weapon. "I don't think so," Kate replied. "It feels more like a greeting or a question." Liz made another decision. "Send a standard Confederation greeting back on the same frequency." The crew waited in tense silence. Then Kate's panel lit up. "We're getting a response. It's translating our language." She looked up in amazement. Whatever is on that ship is learning how to talk to us right now. Words began to appear on the main screen of the bridge. Identity confirmation required. State, species, and origin. Liz stepped forward. This is Captain Elizabeth Martinez of the Galactic Confederation vessel Curiosity. We are on a peaceful exploration mission. The response came quickly. Species unrecognized, not in database. Searching historical records. Minutes passed with no further communication. The crew exchanged nervous glances. What do you think it's doing? Whispered Dan. Learning about us, probably, John replied. If these really are human ships, they've been floating here since before the Confederation existed. Finally, new words appeared. You are not human. You are not Draxian. State your knowledge of Earth and humanity. Liz took a deep breath. We know Earth as the legendary home of humans from ancient stories. Historical records say humans disappeared about 500,000 years ago after a war with the Draxians. Both species are believed to be extinct. The Galactic Confederation formed 5,000 years ago from 17 peaceful species. There was another pause before the response came. I am Adam, Guardian of the last fleet, humanity's final defense. The crew stared at the screen in shock. It's an AI, Greg whispered. A 500,000-year-old artificial intelligence that's still functioning. Scans indicate your vessel is not armed for major combat. Intentions appear non-hostile. Request permission to share limited historical data. Liz looked around at her crew, seeing their mixture of fear and excitement. This was the greatest discovery in Confederation history. An ancient fleet. A living computer from a species believed to be myths. Permission granted, she replied. We are here to learn and explore, not to fight. The main screen filled with a new message. Humanity is not extinct. Humanity sleeps. And after 500,000 years, it may be time to wake them. Outside the windows of the Curiosity, lights began to flicker across the massive fleet. One by one, the ancient warships were waking up. The crew of the Curiosity watched in stunned silence as more lights flickered across the massive fleet. The ships that had been dark for 500,000 years were now coming to life. Captain, the energy readings are climbing across all vessels, said Greg Summers, his eyes fixed on his screen. Whatever is happening, it's spreading through the entire fleet. Liz Martinez gripped the edge of her command chair. Are we in any danger? I don't think so, replied John Allen, studying his own readings. The ships aren't powering weapons, it looks more like basic systems coming online, life support, internal lights, maintenance functions. The main screen lit up with another message from Adam. Initiating preliminary awakening protocols. Full fleet activation will take approximately 72 hours. Awakening protocols? Kate Wilson said. Does that mean it's waking up the humans too? Before anyone could answer, the screen changed again. Request permission to connect to your vessel's communication systems for easier interaction. Paul Davis, the security officer, immediately objected. Captain, that's too risky. If this AI gets into our systems, it could take control of the ship. Liz considered for a moment. Adam, what exactly do you mean by connect? The response came quickly. Audio-visual connection only. No access to navigation, life support, or engine systems requested. Purpose: facilitate communication. Liz made her decision. Allow audio only for now. No visual, and no access to any ship systems. Greg set up a protected channel, isolating it from the rest of the ship's computers. When he finished, he nodded to Liz. Adam, can you hear me? She asked. Instead of text on the screen, a calm male voice filled the bridge. Yes, Captain Martinez. Thank you for this accommodation. Speaking is much more efficient than text-based communication. The voice sounded so natural that several crew members jumped in surprise. You sound human, said John. My voice patterns are based on Dr. Alan West, who served as lead programmer on my creation. Adam replied. I was designed to interface with humans in the most comfortable way possible. Liz leaned forward. Adam, you said humanity is sleeping. What exactly does that mean? When the war with the Draxians reached its most desperate point, humanity faced possible extinction, Adam explained. The Draxians had developed a biological weapon that specifically targeted human DNA. Rather than face complete annihilation, the remaining human population enacted the Sanctuary Protocol. "What's the Sanctuary Protocol?" asked Kate. "The last billion humans entered suspended animation in special chambers hidden throughout this solar system," Adam said. "The war fleet was programmed to remain on guard until either the Draxian threat was eliminated or a cure for the bioweapon was developed." The crew exchanged looks of amazement. 1 billion people sleeping for 500,000 years, it seemed impossible. "But why didn't you wake them up?" Dan Young asked. "You said the Draxians are gone, right?" "The Draxian civilization collapsed shortly after humanity's retreat," Adam confirmed. "Without their primary enemy, their empire fell apart through internal conflicts. The last known Draxian died approximately 475,000 years ago." "So why are the humans still sleeping?" Liz pressed. "The bioweapon remained in space around former Draxian worlds," Adam explained. "My programming required absolute confirmation that no trace elements existed before revival could begin. This verification process has been ongoing for centuries." Liz tried to comprehend the scale of what Adam was describing. An AI that had watched over sleeping humans for hundreds of thousands of years, patiently waiting for the right time to wake them. "The human sleep chambers," she asked carefully. "Are they still working after all this time?" 97% of chambers remain fully operational," Adam replied. "Humans can be safely revived." Paul looked skeptical. "How can anything keep working for 500,000 years?" "The suspension technology was designed for extreme longevity," Adam said. "And I have maintained and repaired systems as needed throughout the centuries." Greg whistled softly. "The engineering required for that kind of durability is beyond anything we have in the Confederation." The main screen suddenly lit up with new information, diagrams showing the layout of the fleet and the locations of hidden facilities throughout the solar system. The largest concentration was on the third planet, Earth. "Would you like to see more?" Adam asked. "Yes," Liz said without hesitation. "Show us everything you can." For the next several hours, Adam shared carefully selected historical data. Images of Earth before the war showed blue oceans, green forests, and sprawling cities. The crew saw humans as they once were, a species not unlike many in the Confederation, but with an apparent talent for building things. "They made you," John said to Adam. "How advanced was their AI technology?" "I was the pinnacle of their achievements in that field," Adam replied. "But they excelled in many areas: energy generation, medicine, space travel. Much of that knowledge is preserved and ready to be passed to the next generation." Liz was thinking about the implications. "Adam, what happens now? Do you plan to wake the humans?" "That decision requires careful consideration," Adam said. "The galaxy has changed significantly since humanity entered hibernation. Before revival begins, I must determine if current conditions will allow humans to survive and prosper." "What do you need to know?" asked Liz. "Everything about your Confederation," Adam replied. "Its species, governments, technologies, and most importantly, its values. Humanity hoped to return to a peaceful galaxy. I must determine if that hope can now be fulfilled." Paul frowned. "So you're judging us?" "Evaluating," Adam corrected. "My primary directive is to protect humanity. If awakening them would lead to another war or their extinction, I cannot proceed." Liz stood up. "I need to contact Confederation Command immediately. They need to know about this discovery." "You may do so," Adam said. "But please be aware that I am now monitoring your communications. If I detect any hostile intent from your leaders, I will take defensive measures." "What kind of defensive measures?" Paul asked nervously. The lights across the fleet suddenly glowed brighter, and several of the smaller ships began to move slightly, adjusting their positions. "This fleet was built for war," Adam said simply. "I would prefer peace, but I am prepared for all possibilities." Liz swallowed hard. "I understand. I'll make it clear that we come in peace." As she prepared to send the message that would change galactic history forever, Liz looked out at the ancient warships. After 500,000 years of silence, humanity was about to return to a galaxy that had forgotten them. She only hoped the Confederation was ready for what that might mean. Liz Martinez sat alone in her private quarters, waiting for a response from Confederation Command. She had sent her message 6 hours ago, explaining their incredible discovery. The waiting was the hardest part. Her communication screen finally lit up. The stern face of Admiral Frank Nelson appeared. "Captain Martinez," he said, his voice tight with tension. "Your report has caused quite a stir. Half the council thinks you've made a fantastic discovery. The other half thinks you've found a threat to our entire civilization." Liz nodded. "I understand their concerns, Admiral, but I don't believe Adam or the human fleet pose an immediate danger. Adam seems genuinely interested in peaceful contact. An artificial intelligence that's 500,000 years old, controlling thousands of warships?" The Admiral frowned. "That's a lot of firepower in the hands of a machine, Captain. A machine that's been fulfilling its purpose perfectly for all that time," Liz pointed out. "If Adam wanted to attack, it could have done so already." The Admiral sighed. "The Council has voted to send a diplomatic team to your location. They'll arrive in 3 days. Until then, learn what you can, but be careful. Don't make any promises on behalf of the Confederation." "Yes, sir," Liz said. "What about the humans? Should I tell Adam the Confederation is open to their revival?" "That's not your decision to make, Captain. The diplomatic team will handle those discussions." The Admiral's expression softened slightly. "This could be the most important first contact in our history. Let's not rush it." After the call ended, Liz returned to the bridge. Her crew looked at her expectantly. "A diplomatic team is coming," she told them. "We have 3 days to learn as much as we can about Adam and the humans before they arrive." "Adam has been asking to speak with you," Kate said. "It seems anxious if an AI can be anxious." Liz nodded. "Put it through." "Captain Martinez," Adam's voice came through the speakers. "I have been reviewing your ship's database to learn about the Confederation. May I ask some questions?" "Of course," Liz replied. "What would you like to know?" "Your records indicate the Confederation includes 17 different intelligent species, all living in peaceful cooperation. How is conflict resolved between them?" Liz thought for a moment. "We have a council with representatives from each species. They vote on important matters. When disputes arise, we use negotiation and compromise. Violence between member species is forbidden." "Fascinating," Adam said. "Humans dreamed of such cooperation but rarely achieved it among themselves, let alone with other species." "Were humans violent?" John asked. "They could be," Adam admitted, "but they were also capable of great compassion and creativity. They were complex." Adam paused before continuing. "I have another request, Captain. I would like to show you something important. Would you and a small team be willing to board the central ship?" The crew exchanged nervous glances. "Is it safe?" Liz asked. "Yes. I have prepared an area with appropriate life support for your species. There is something you need to see, something that would help you understand humanity better." Liz made her decision. "I'll come with a small team. Send us docking instructions." 2 hours later, Liz, John, Greg, and Paul stood in the Curiosity's airlock, wearing their exploration suits. The massive central ship of the human fleet, which Adam called the Guardian, had opened a docking bay for their shuttle. "Remember," Liz told her team, "we're here to learn, not to judge. This could be the most important exploration mission of our lives." They flew the shuttle across the short distance between ships. The docking bay was enormous, designed for vessels much larger than their small craft. As they landed, lights came on automatically, illuminating a space that had been dark for 500,000 years. "Welcome to the Guardian," Adam's voice came through their suit communications. "Please proceed through the main doorway. The corridor has been pressurized with an atmosphere compatible with your biology." After checking their instruments to confirm the air was safe, they removed their helmets. The corridor ahead was clean and well maintained, as if it had been built yesterday instead of thousands of centuries ago. This way, Adam guided them. We are going to the historical archive. They followed Adam's directions through the massive ship. Everything was built on a scale that made them feel small. The corridors were wide, the ceilings high. Humans were about your size, Adam explained, as if sensing their thoughts. But they built large ships to accommodate their equipment and to survive long missions. Finally, they reached a large circular room. As they entered, the walls came to life with images, moving pictures of Earth and humans going about their lives before the war. This is the archive, Adam said. Here, humanity preserved its history, culture, and knowledge for future generations. The images changed, showing humans of different colors and sizes wearing different clothes living in different environments. They saw humans building things, growing food, playing with small humans, children, Adam explained, and doing many other activities. They look a lot like species in the Confederation, Greg observed, especially the Loraki. Convergent evolution is common in the galaxy, Adam said. But what made humans unique wasn't their physical form. It was their adaptability and their will to survive against all odds. The images changed again, now showing the war with the Draxians. The scenes were difficult to watch. Planets burning, ships exploding, people suffering. The war lasted nearly a century, Adam explained. The Draxians were determined to be the dominant species in the galaxy. Humans fought not just for themselves but for other, less advanced species that the Draxians had enslaved or destroyed. They were protecting others? Paul asked, surprised. Yes. Humans could be selfish, but they could also be selfless. When they realized they were losing the war, they enacted the Sanctuary Protocol not just to save themselves but to preserve everything they had learned and created. Adam directed their attention to a crystal pedestal in the center of the room. This is why I brought you here. The pedestal lit up and above it appeared a three-dimensional image of a double helix. What Adam explained was human DNA. The Draxian bioweapon attacked this specific sequence. Adam pointed to a section of the DNA. It caused cellular breakdown. That was always fatal. There was no cure. So the humans went to sleep to wait for the weapon to disappear naturally. John asked. Yes, but they did more than that. While they slept, I continued their research, looking for a solution. After 302,171 years, I found it. The DNA image changed, showing a slightly different pattern. I developed a modification to human DNA that makes them immune to the weapon. When they awaken, they will never again be vulnerable to that specific threat. Liz stared at the display in wonder. You've been working on this problem for over 300,000 years? It is my purpose, Adam said simply. To protect humanity and ensure its survival. If you found the solution so long ago, why didn't you wake them then? Greg asked. Because the galaxy was not yet safe, Adam replied. Other threats existed. Wars between various species erupted periodically. I continued to monitor and wait for the right time. There was a pause. I believe that time may finally have come. The images around them changed once more, showing peaceful scenes of Earth, its oceans, mountains, and forests. This is what humans fought to protect, Adam said. Their home. Soon they may see it again. But first I must be certain that the Confederation will accept them peacefully. Liz looked at the beautiful blue planet in the images. I'll do everything I can to help make that happen, Adam. I promise. 3 days passed quickly. The crew of the Curiosity spent every waking hour learning about the humans and their technology. Adam proved to be an excellent teacher, patient and thorough in answering their endless questions. Liz was on the bridge when Kate called out, Captain, I'm detecting a ship dropping out of faster-than-light travel. It's the diplomatic vessel. The ship that appeared on their screens was much larger than the Curiosity. Its sleek design marked it as one of the newest vessels in the Confederation fleet. They're hailing us, Kate said. Put them through, Liz replied, straightening her uniform. The main screen lit up to show a diverse group. In the center sat Ambassador Claire Adams, a tall woman from one of the human-like species called the Loraki. Next to her was Dr. Eric Woods, the Confederation's top expert on ancient civilizations. Captain Martinez, the ambassador, greeted her formally. "We've come in response to your discovery." "Welcome, Ambassador, we're glad you're here," Liz replied. "There's so much to show you." "I've read your reports, but I must see for myself," Ambassador Adams said. "Is it true that this AI claims actual living humans are in suspended animation?" "Yes. Adam has shown us evidence that approximately 1 billion humans are sleeping in chambers throughout this solar system." Dr. Woods leaned forward eagerly. "And they've been preserved this way for 500,000 years? The technological implications are staggering." "Adam would like to speak with you directly," Liz said. "With your permission, I'll connect you." The ambassador nodded, and Liz signaled to Kate to open the channel. "Greetings, representatives of the Galactic Confederation." Adam's calm voice filled both ships. "Thank you for coming to discuss humanity's future." The ambassador's professional demeanor slipped for just a moment, showing surprise at Adam's human-like voice. She quickly recovered. "We are here to learn and to determine the best path forward for all concerned." "An excellent approach," Adam replied. "Would you like to see more evidence of humanity's current state?" "Yes," the ambassador said. "That would be helpful. Then please come aboard the Guardian. I have prepared a demonstration." 6 hours later, Liz watched as the diplomatic team returned to the Curiosity. Their faces showed a mixture of amazement and concern. They had seen far more than Liz's team had been shown, including an actual suspended animation chamber with a sleeping human inside. Ambassador Adams called an immediate meeting in the Curiosity's conference room. "What we've seen today changes everything," she began once everyone was seated. "If Adam is telling the truth and the evidence suggests it is, then we are facing an unprecedented situation. 1 billion humans with technology far beyond our current capabilities could soon rejoin the galactic community." "Is that a problem?" Liz asked. "The Confederation has always welcomed new species." "New species, yes," Dr. Woods said. "But humans aren't new. According to our oldest records, they were involved in the most destructive war the galaxy has ever known." "A war they didn't start," Greg pointed out. "Adam showed us that the Draxians attacked Earth first." Ambassador Adams held up her hand. "For quiet. The past is less important than the future. The Council needs to decide if awakening the humans is in the best interest of the Confederation." "With respect, Ambassador," Liz said carefully, "I'm not sure it's our decision to make. These humans are not dead. They're sleeping. Don't they have the right to wake up?" The room fell silent as everyone considered her words. Finally, the ambassador spoke. "You make a fair point, Captain, but we must also consider the practical realities. A sleeping species cannot harm anyone, but once awake, these humans will have access to their war fleet and all its weapons. Adam has assured us that humanity's goals are peaceful," John said. "They just want to live again to rebuild their civilization, and we only have the word of an ancient AI on that," one of the other diplomats said skeptically. The debate continued for hours. Some argued for caution, suggesting that perhaps only a few humans should be awakened initially. Others worried about the ethical implications of keeping sentient beings in suspended animation against their will. Throughout the discussion, Liz noticed that Dr. Woods was unusually quiet, staring at his datapad. "Dr. Woods," she finally said, "you've studied ancient civilizations for decades. What do you think about all this?" He looked up, his eyes bright with excitement. "I think we're missing the most important question." "Which is?" the ambassador asked. "Why now?" Dr. Woods leaned forward. "Adam said it found a cure for the Draxian bioweapon over 300,000 years ago. It's been monitoring galactic events ever since, waiting for the right time to wake humanity. So why choose this moment, when our ships entered this system?" A thoughtful silence followed his question. "Adam," Liz called out, knowing the AI was monitoring their discussion. "Can you answer Dr. Woods's question? Why now?" Adam's voice came through the speakers. "A fair question. I have been watching the Confederation since its formation 5,000 years ago. I have observed your peaceful cooperation, your scientific advancement, and your ethical treatment of different species. 3 factors led to my decision that now is the right time. What factors? The ambassador asked. First, your confederation has maintained peace for longer than any previous galactic government. Second, your technological level has advanced to a point where you could understand and integrate with human technology without being overwhelmed by it. And third, you found us. What does our finding you have to do with it? Dr. Woods asked. It was the final test, Adam explained. I needed to see how you would react to discovering something unexpected and potentially threatening. You responded with curiosity and caution, not fear and aggression. That confirmed what my observations had suggested, that the Confederation is ready to accept humanity. The ambassador looked troubled. So you've been testing us all along? Evaluating, Adam corrected gently. My primary directive is to protect humanity and ensure its successful reintegration into galactic society. I could not risk awakening them into a hostile environment. The ambassador stood up. I need to discuss this with the full council. We'll return to our ship and make contact with Confederation headquarters. Of course, Liz said, standing as, well. But may I make a suggestion? Go ahead, Captain. Before you leave, ask Adam to show you the sleep chambers on Earth. See the humans as they are now, peaceful and vulnerable. It might help the Council remember that we're not just talking about ancient history or potential threats. We're talking about people. The ambassador considered this, then nodded. A wise suggestion, Captain. We'll do that before we depart. As the diplomatic team prepared to visit Earth, Liz found herself hoping they would see what she had seen. Not just a powerful fleet or advanced technology, but the legacy of a species that had faced extinction and found a way to survive, waiting patiently for the day when they could live again. 2 weeks passed while the Confederation Council debated the human situation. The Curiosity remained in orbit around the gas giant, keeping watch over the ancient fleet. Liz and her crew continued to learn from Adam, exploring more of the Guardian and the history it contained. Captain, we're receiving a priority message from Confederation headquarters, Kate called from her station one morning. Liz took a deep breath. Put it through. The main screen showed Ambassador Adams, her expression serious but not unfriendly. Captain Martinez, the Council has reached its decision. Liz felt her heart beat faster. And? We have voted to allow the awakening of humanity, but in careful stages, the ambassador said. First, a small group of 500 humans will be revived. They will serve as representatives for their species, while we negotiate formal terms for humanity's entry into the Confederation. Relief washed over Liz. That's wonderful news, Ambassador. The Council was persuaded by your arguments about the ethical implications of keeping sentient beings in suspended animation against their will, Ambassador Adams continued. And our visit to the sleep chambers on Earth was moving. It's hard to see them as a threat when they're so vulnerable. Does Adam know yet? Liz asked. No. We wanted to inform you first, as you've been our primary contact in this situation. Liz nodded. Thank you. I'll tell Adam immediately. When the call ended, Liz addressed the empty air. Adam, did you hear that? Yes, Captain Martinez. Adam's voice came through the speakers. I monitor all communications on your vessel as, you know. And what do you think of the Council's decision? There was a brief pause. It is a reasonable approach. A gradual awakening will allow both sides to adjust. I accept these terms. When will you begin the revival process? John asked. Immediately, Adam replied. I have already selected the initial group of 500 humans. They include scientists, diplomats, historians, and cultural experts who will be best equipped to help humanity transition into this new era. Where will the revival happen? Liz asked. On Earth, in the primary facility near what was once called the Rocky Mountains. It's the best preserved site, with all medical equipment still functioning at optimal levels. Greg looked excited. Can we watch? Yes, Adam said. In fact, I would like your crew to be present as representatives of the Confederation. It would be helpful for the awakening humans to see friendly faces from the current galactic community. 3 days later, Liz found herself standing in an enormous underground facility on Earth. The room stretched farther than she could see, filled with rows upon rows of sleep chambers. Each one held a human in perfect suspended animation, looking as though they might wake at any moment from a normal night's sleep. Adam had prepared a special section where the first 500 would be awakened. Medical equipment and supplies were ready, along with clean clothes and food. The chambers in this section were already glowing with a soft blue light, indicating that the revival process had begun. The process takes approximately 6 hours, Adam explained to the gathered representatives from the Curiosity and the diplomatic vessel. First, their metabolism must be gradually reactivated. Then their neural pathways are stimulated to bring consciousness back. Will they remember what happened? Going into suspension, I mean? Asked Dr. Woods. Yes. They all received a neural recording before suspension that explained the situation and what to expect upon awakening. They know they may have been asleep for a very long time. But they couldn't have imagined 500,000 years, Paul said quietly. No, Adam agreed. That will be difficult for them to comprehend at first. The hours passed slowly as they watched the chambers work. Monitors showed vital signs growing stronger as the humans came closer to waking. Finally, Adam announced, "The first revival is complete. The chamber will now open." Everyone held their breath as the first sleep chamber's lid slid smoothly open. Inside was a middle-aged man with dark hair and a serious face. For a moment, he didn't move. Then his chest rose with a deep breath and his eyes slowly opened. He blinked several times, looking confused. Then he focused on the ceiling above him and spoke in a language no one understood. But Adam did. "Hello, Dr. Sam Collins," Adam replied, in the same language. "Yes, you have been successfully revived. The sanctuary protocol has ended." Dr. Collins sat up slowly, holding onto the sides of his chamber. He looked around, his eyes widening as he saw the aliens watching him. Adam continued speaking to him, explaining who they were. After a brief conversation, Adam switched to the Confederation Standard Language. Dr. Collins asks if the Draxians are truly gone. Yes. Ambassador Adams stepped forward. The Draxian Empire fell long ago. The galaxy is at peace now. Dr. Collins studied her, then spoke again. He is asking how long they were asleep, Adam translated. The ambassador hesitated, then said simply, 500,000 years. When Adam translated this, Dr. Collins's face showed shock. He spoke rapidly, his voice rising. He is asking about the others, the rest of humanity, Adam explained. Tell him they're all still here, still sleeping, Liz said quickly. And they can be awakened too, once we've established relations between humanity and the Confederation. As Adam translated, Dr. Collins visibly relaxed. Around them, more chambers were opening. A woman sat up in one nearby, looking around with the same confusion that Dr. Collins had shown. This is Ambassador Julia Parker. Adam introduced her. She was one of humanity's leading diplomats before the Sanctuary Protocol. Throughout the facility, humans were waking up, each going through their own moment of realization that they had slept for 500,000 years. Yet their reactions showed remarkable resilience. There were tears and questions, but also determination, and even hope. Over the next several days, the awakened humans adjusted with surprising speed. Adam had selected them well. They were adaptable and forward-thinking. They began learning the Confederation language and studying the current state of galactic politics. 1 month after the first revival, a formal ceremony was held on the Guardian. Representatives from all 17 Confederation species attended, along with the 500 awakened humans. Ambassador Parker, now fluent in the Confederation language, stepped forward to address the gathering. 500,000 years ago, humanity faced extinction. We stepped back from the galaxy, rather than perish. Today we step forward again. She looked around at the assembled aliens. We return not as conquerors, but as partners. Our knowledge and technology are yours, as we hope your friendship will be ours. As she spoke outside the viewports, Earth could be seen, blue, green, and beautiful. Small ships were already descending to its surface, carrying humans home for the first time in 500,000 years. The sleeping war fleet, built for destruction, had become the guardian of a second chance. Liz watched it all with a sense of wonder. Her exploration mission had turned into something far greater, the rebirth of a species everyone had thought was just a legend. And as more humans awakened in the coming months and years, the galaxy would never be the same again. Perhaps that was humanity's greatest strength, she thought, not their technology or their warships, but their ability to endure, to wait, and to hope for a better tomorrow.